Hello students, we'll move on with the next topic, that is session tracking. So in the previous video we saw what is session. So session in simple words, if you're saying the time span between the browser connected to the server, okay, and the session gets terminated when the browser is disconnected from the server, okay. So session, so just take an example of booking some ticket booking, okay. We'll take an example as we are trying to book a ticket in Redbus site. So we are logging into Redbus, and initially in the first page it might happen you are entering the date, okay, so the travel date. So that might be in the first page, and in the next page you might have to enter the location from where to source as well as destination, and in the next page you might enter the pickup point, okay, pickup point and drop point. And the next page you might enter you might have to select the seat, okay, you're selecting some seats. And in the next page you are performing the payment option, and finally you are getting whether the ticket is booked or not, that information. So what is happening here, within the website you are moving around different pages, okay. So keeping track of all this, you can call it as session tracking, okay. So previous video we spoke about cookies, wherein cookies is maintained at this user side, that is in the browser, whereas session is the information which is maintained at the server end, okay. So in simple words, if you're saying within the website you are moving around different pages, so there must be some information maintained, so from one page to another page when you're moving around. Now suppose first page you enter the date, and if there is no link between the date and the next page, that is wherein you're giving the location, if there is no link, then booking cannot happen. So there need to be some mechanism to connect between all the pages, okay. So that you can call it as session tracking, which is done at the server end. So for this purpose, session array is used to store information about the previous request of a client during a session. So just remember here, during a session, that is what we said, we are logging into Redbus site. When you log into the Redbus site, what and all you have done? You have entered the date, you have entered the location, you have entered, you have selected the seat, you have done the payment. So during a session, that is from the point when you have logged in until you log out, during a session what and all you have done, that is previous request of a client. So all those information are maintained in session array, okay. So session array often store unique session id for a session. So each session is having a unique id which you're calling it as a session id, okay. So each of the session, they have their unique id, which can be of some 26 or 32 characters. So that is called as your session id, which is a unique number. For every session you have a unique id, okay. Session arrays can be stored on the server. That's what we said, cookies are stored in the browser in the user end, whereas session arrays are stored on the server. PHP script is interested in session tracking by calling session start function, which takes no parameter. So in PHP, how you're starting a session? By using a function called as session start. The first call to session start in a session causes or you can say creates a session ID. So when you give session start, a session ID is created for the particular session. On subsequent call to the function retrieves session array, which stores any variable and their value that were registered in previously executed scripts in this session. So first time you're going to call session start. So when you call session start, a session ID will be created for that particular session, okay. Subsequent call to the subsequent call the function is going to retrieve session array. So what did we say in the session array in the previous slide? Slash session array is used to store information about what and all the client has done. Okay, subsequent call is going to retrieve session array which stores any variables, okay, as well as the values that were registered in the previously executed script in this session. So suppose the first page you have given the date, and next page you're going to the next page. So again, if you're giving session start, that time what information you're going to get from session array, that is the first information what you've given, like date, that information will be there in your session array in the form of variable and their values. Okay, so session key value pairs are created or changed by the assignment to the session array. So in your session array, how will the information be stored? It will be stored in the form of key and value pair. Where array, when you say in PHP arrays, how will the arrays be? How will the arrays be? It will be in the form of key and value pair. So when we spoke about cookies, we said in PHP array, in your C, if you're saying an array, it consists of an index and the value stored in that particular, suppose a of 0. So 0 is called as the index. So that index you're calling it as key here, and in a of 0, suppose you have a value 10, that is nothing but the value here. Okay, so these can be destroyed by using unset operator. So you have one more operator called as unset, using which you can delete the values. Okay, so this is about your session